It's Conservative Lisa, Lisa Michaels, and this is my blog, conservativelisa.blogspot.com. Actually, this is conservativelisa.blogspot.com. This is my other one right here, conservativecrew.blogspot.com. But if you come up and see this one, this is conservativelisa.blogspot.com. And this is my page. I've got lots of different tabs. I've got global warming, climate change to debunk all the climate change stuff. And then this is vote by fraud news updates. And so I just kind of update it. I just did one the other day. And this is a video I most recently did, which about the 2020 election. So I've been investigating election fraud for 20 years. Yes, 20 years. It's been a long road, and I get paid nothing for it. I'm asking for nothing. I get no advertising on my YouTube channels. They've been censoring me and taking away subscribers. I can't even do a live stream because I only have 500 subscribers on my biggest channel. I have 5 channels, and one of the very first producers on YouTube way back in 2007. So anyway, what have I done to investigate? I have been in the trenches. I've run for office 5 times. I have run and twice for Congress in Oregon. I was never in any danger of actually getting elected because I knew that there was nonstop election fraud. But one of the only ways that you can actually see the ballots, at least in Oregon, is if you call for a recount as a candidate. So I'd run as a candidate, and I'd run other people's campaigns. I ran Delia Lopez's campaign in 2010, and I told her I'd help her manage her campaign. I barely made any money. I made a little bit of commission when I bought airtime. Other than that, I didn't take any sort of money. I lost money running campaigns. So I'm not in it for profit. I'm in it because of righteous indignation over the fact that our elections are completely rigged and we have no way of actually throwing out bad leaders and putting in good ones because of the systemic election fraud that has percolated and grown and metastasized in our country since 2000, for 20 years. After the Bush debacle, they put in, every state started to go and change their computer voting systems, and the computer voting systems are the main source of the election fraud. All computers can be hacked, so we should never ever be voting on computers, period. End of story. It's that simple. We need to have proof of U.S. citizenship at the time of registration, and we need to have some sort of way of proving that you're only voting once in one state. And you need to vote in person, and you need to have bipartisan poll workers at each one of the precincts to count each precinct's ballots at the end of the night. And if they have to stay there late, too bad, so sad. Maybe they have shifts, I don't know, but it needs to be hand counted. Then they need to be securely taken to the county elections by armed guard and placed there so that if there is any problem or any discrepancies, and make it the ability to hand recount ballots much easier. It's now locked up. They try to put every roadblock in the way, which means they're obviously hiding something. You hide nothing if you have nothing to hide. Fact. So anyway, I wanted to start in and do this, play this video for you. This is Joe Biden giving the gift that who's the gift that keeps on giving, as lots of people say, basically telling us in his own words. We know he confessed to the fact that he bribed the Ukrainian president with our tax dollars for $1 billion worth of aid in exchange for them firing the prosecutor who was prosecuting his son's crooked energy business. And so that he was doing that. And now in his senile mind, he decided to tell everybody exactly why he was so confident and he didn't need to come out of his basement in order to campaign because of this. Let's hear him.
We have put together, and you guys did it for the President Obama's administration before this. We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
Okay, so there's that one. Now, let's listen to our own president on election night explain that he knew full well that they were going to do what they did. He was way ahead, just like Chris Dudley, Yale College friend of Judge Kavanaugh's, ex-NBA player for the Portland Trailblazers. He ran for governor in 2010 when I was running Delia Lopez's campaign. He was a rock star. He was drawing huge crowds every place he went, and he was winning handily on election night. But in the middle of the night, when things stopped and they started bringing in the bags full of ballots, sure enough, he lost to the disgraced ex-governor Kitzhaber, who was thrown out of office for corruption. So here is President Trump telling you exactly what the Democrats were about to do.
North Carolina, big victory with North Carolina. And so we won there. We lead by 76,000 votes with almost nothing left. And all of a sudden, everything just stopped. This is a fraud on the American public. This is an embarrassment to our country. We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election. We did win this election. So our goal now is to ensure the integrity for the good of this nation. This is a very big moment. This is a major fraud in our nation. We want the law to be used in a proper manner. So we'll be going to the U.S. Supreme Court. We want all voting to stop. We don't want them to find any ballots at 4 o'clock in the morning and add them to the list.
Spot on.
Okay?
4 o'clock in the morning.
It's a very sad moment. To me, this is a very sad moment, and we will win this. And we, as far as I'm concerned, we already have won it. So I just want to thank you, and I want to thank all of our support. I want to thank all.
Okay, so he knew, he said 4 o'clock in the morning. And this was not 4 o'clock in the morning. He said that they were going to do it. Biden told us that they had the biggest fraud. And then he knew they were going to do it. And so he put in this executive order on September 12th, 2018. I have a video up where I read most of it, but I got bored with it. So anyway, what I believe is happening is he's going to get an order. This is already in place, ready to get all the evidence of election fraud with any foreign countries, and China is big time involved. The company that the venture capital firm that owns Dominion voting machines gets the bulk of their money through UBS in Switzerland, which is 70% owned by the communist Chinese. So these people are going to get caught. And if you know anybody, or if you perhaps are watching this and you were involved in this election fraud, maybe they paid you an extra amount of money to slip a thumb drive from one room to another, or backdate a ballot, or do any of this stuff, any of these shenanigans in these states, in Atlanta, Detroit, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, in Tucson, Phoenix, then Maricopa County, then if you get caught, you could be executed for treason, or you could serve life in prison. The alternative is for you, being a bit player in it, is to go and contact the FBI, confess, and negotiate a plea deal, because they're not looking for you, they're looking for the big fish. Why should you be dragged down in their dragnet? So this is executive order on imposing certain sanctions in the event of foreign interference in a United States election, which is exactly what we have. Then I'd like you to also look, I've placed this on a lot of tweets and things like that, but it's heavily censored. This is my expose, and it's not dated, even though it's been started, was dropped on April 26, 2013. Goes through chapter and verse, goes through all the companies involved, how the system works. If you're a mathematician and you're trying to factor in the numbers, this would be very educational for you, because nobody's really talking about the statewide voter database registration system that was required by the Help America Vote Act, HAVA. And this is, I believe, I'm not that much of a mathematician, but I believe this provides the universe of voter registrations so that they can funnel in the right number of fraudulent votes, phantom votes, as some people have called them, in to make sure that Biden won in those key cities, so that he could bring him over the top. So here it is. I'll just play the opening.
Citizens appear to be suicidal when it comes to throwing out bad leaders and electing good ones. Ever wonder why, no matter how good a candidate's campaign, no matter how much money they raise, nor how well qualified they are for the position, Republicans almost always lose? The good news is you're not that out of step with your neighbors. The reason voting trends have shifted so dramatically to the left in the past 20 years is because of vote by mail and the corrupt election system forced on our own county clerks after Congress enacted the Help America Vote Act. Stalin said that it's not the people who vote that count, it's the people who count the votes. Much like Soviet centralized government, our elections have become centralized so that a small group of government officials may control the results of our elections.
Okay, so that's two parts, and in part two, right here, history part two, I actually show documented proof of election fraud, showing that the printer, programmer, and maintenance company and the ES&S system picks a different company in each state, so that also muddies the water, makes it harder for them to see. But that person gets temporary employment status at the elections office, so they can come and go as they see fit. And if they wanted to stick a jump drive in or monitor it to make sure that the votes are continuing to generate results for the Democrats winning, then they can. And the signs of an election fraud situation is the Democrat candidates never campaign. They don't campaign. They don't debate. They could care less, because they know they're gonna win, and they win year after year after year. You can compare them with the same percentages, regardless of how good the opposition candidate's campaign is. None of it matters a bit, because they know they're going to get it. This is factored in. These are systemic, and I'm hoping that after Dominion is completely exposed, they will move on to the biggest homegrown electronic voting machines company, ES&S, founded by Chuck Hagel, so that he could use it to win his very first race for the U.S. Senate in a landslide against the ex-governor of Nebraska in Omaha. So thank you very much. Keep up the good work, and please check my my channel. This is my channel, and you can go to my playlists, and I've got this other one, which is years voting by fraud, and this one has,
So he's only governor.
this one has just tons of them. I mean, really good one that summarizes a lot of it. It was with my attorney, James Buechel, when I sued Secretary of State Kate Brown over election integrity. We sued him in order to try to force her to run the elections properly so that he could have a fighting chance of winning his attorney general race, but we lost. The crooked judge said that the Secretary of State's rules were more important than the laws set out by the state legislature. Totally anti-constitutional. Very scary. So anyway, I appreciate everybody doing this. I'm so thrilled that this is finally coming to the forefront, and God bless America. Thank you.